When did the divorce occur?
Uh,
How old were you?
Probably 13, seventh grade, somewhere in there.
13.
Somewhere in there, yeah. So like it was already difficult, like, but
Feel for you.
yeah, I don't know. I just handled it differently than I think a lot of people or the people I know had.
Mm-hmm. What was family life before the divorce? What was your relationship with your dad like?
Good, but he was a product of a lot of large family, youngest kid, so he had his own chip against the world. And
He had a chip against the world?
yeah, I mean, like school and teaching, and or just not teaching but just school, and you know, he was very smart but didn't fit well within the framework of education. and found his own way and did his own things. But my relationship to him was I wanted to be a tiny version. So, you know, my mom would make him a shirt and she'd make me a tiny version of it. So I had matching buttons and pockets and patterns, and he smoked cigarettes. And so I cut straws or had the little candy cigarettes. I never smoked a cigarette in my life, but like the idea that this was the action he did, or he had a little notebook for keeping track of cows, that was, I wanted to be that. But I also wanted to be my own person too, like within that. And that didn't always align with the people around us.
Yeah. What's that mean?
It means having any emotions.
Expressing emotions.
Yeah. That you didn't just drink away. Yeah.
Mm. So your dad drank?
Some, yeah. But not like a lot of the people around us.
Mm.
And again, it's not some people definitely were alcoholics and it was detriment to them, but just the processing of life was like, well, it's hard. You know, what is it? There was no value in it. Like, and there, you know, culturally still, it's like, well, men don't cry, or, you know, there's just like this macho thing, or there's like this tough guy thing. And it's like, I don't know. I cried all the time. I still cry. You know, and I think, and my kids have seen me cry, and in the middle of martial art tests, I've cried. Like I refuse to be afraid of that. And I've refused to be afraid of it for a long time now, because I thought, what if someone has a problem with it? That's their problem.
Yeah. Do you remember doing stuff with your dad that was like meaningful for the two of you?
Yeah.
Things that y'all did that was bonding?
All the time.
What kind of stuff?
Oh, like making a He-Man sword out of a piece of wood, going on 4-wheeler drives to check on cows, just riding on the track, like just being with him a lot of the time. And my mom too, right? Like I shared equal time. Sometimes I wanted to stay home and not be covered in mud and dirt, and she was cooking meals or working the garden. So I copied her. Like I remember also trying to make things better. My mom watering plants. Oh, I'm going to invent something to make this easier. So I would be over there cutting things apart, making like a watering device to attach to the hose and whatever it was. Like just the tinkering and the exploring ideas and wanting things to be better always. Like that was, as far as I can remember, that is a through line. And it's the same thing that happens why I teach or why I want to explore ideas. It's like, I was doing that when I was 3. Like that, I know I was like, it was just constantly trying to see there's got to be something better, a better way, a different way.
Iterative improvement or some way to like, just, I can impact the system in a positive way, but through tinkering.
Yeah.
Did your dad tell you he loved you?
Yes.
With those words?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
Did he,
not,
how did he, no?
Yeah. Not, I will just say, I say it more.
Yeah.
To my kids.
Is there a way he showed you that he loved you that wasn't in those words? That, like, when did you have a felt sense of love with your dad? Did you ever have that, like, oh, this is it, my dad's giving me his attention?
Yeah, a lot of times when I was little, and then, you know, through high school and after the divorce, just him wanting me to be around or wanting to do things, but you know, circumstances are just, and also just growing into my own person, like that shifts. But I mean, there's an acceptance of the way things could be, and you could fight against it, or you could, you could wish certain things were a certain way, or you can just see where they are and enjoy that. Right. Like I'm not going to change my dad. Like, but I can appreciate and notice when it's his best way to show me love. Right.
Well, there's this idea, I guess I'm hearing from you, that like it wouldn't have been the way that you wanted to receive love, but he did it and you translated it into love.
Yeah. And
what was it like for him? It was just inviting you in his daily chores. Like it was bringing you
getting to be with him when it was going to be difficult probably for him to bring me, and he doing it anyway. I mean, that for a long time, those are memories that are great, but it's not like, it's just, that was the environment we were in. But if I look at it, yes, that was loving. And it was better than probably he was shown. But, I just know that, like, I'm sure now as an older person that's got kids, like thinking about how my kids understand my parents from me understanding my grandparents and my parents' relationship, like all that stuff is like, you have a different understanding of the world as an adult with kids versus like at that time. But no, I think there was a lot of chances that like him choosing to lay on the ground and play, G.I. Joes or something, like, or building a basketball hoop in the middle of like a dirt patch, right? Like there was plenty of time for him to show me and spend time and give me affection. It was just that, and I was luckier than most. Just knowing my friends, I think I lucked out.
What was it like with your friends? It was just neglect or
harsh,
or mean treatment? Like physical abuse or emotional abuse.
Yeah. And my dad was a creative person. He could make beautiful jewelry or do leather work, or he was a creative person himself. And he would use that as a way to express himself. But so I mean, there are plenty of people that, neighbors that were being abused by men that never dealt with any of the fears that they had growing up.
Was there any emotional or physical abuse in your household?
Not really. There's, some, I wouldn't even say abuse. There was some spanking when I was little because like, that's just what everyone knew was
you were
punishment.
Spanked. Yeah. Like hand or a belt?
Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes it was like, but it was always very clear. Like it was one or two, like it was not excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had it worse at school. Honestly, the principals were worse than my parents ever did.
You got spanked at school?
Yeah. Wooden paddles with holes drilled in them.
Oh man, I got spanked at school too.
Yeah. It was horrible. And often, most of the time, it was the other person that got us in trouble, but then it was shared punishment. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm sure I did some things, but as the receiving of bullying, quite often I was tangled up in a situation that I should have been protected, and I was just shared punishment for. So what do you do?
Did you?